Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and good beginning of the week. This is your press review in your favorite television, Freka TV, African seen differently. In the lead up to our review, let's go to West Africa. In Nigeria, 12 states are under the shock of a heavy debt burden, amounting to more than $7 million, have shown the Daily Trust investigations. The newspaper stated that analysis of official data from the Debt Management Office, DMO, National and Office of Statistics, NBS, and various transition committee reports have revealed that debt has increased under the governments of the state that immediately precede them. Nigeria leading law firms are preparing to make a lucrative recapitalization of their banks, but the Central Bank of Nigeria, through its governor, Godwin Emefiele, has indicated that it is only a matter of time. And Business AM has learned in the last 2 weeks since the announcement that Nigeria's top commercial law firms are looking to the future anxiously to get the fundraising season on the way. The following to read exclusively in your newspaper. The Pan-African Weekly present in Nigeria reveals that Almighty Dangote, hero of all Africa and merciless businessman, in the process of multiplying his income by 5 by 2021, thanks to his dual project of refinery and fertilizer plant. The richest man in Africa continues his irresistible rise without it being certain that it will benefit the greatest number. Portrait of an industrial captain ready to do anything to expand his empire. La Tribune d'Afrique in Guinea announces that nearly 7 months after it expressed its intention to join, Guinea is officially joining the Asian Investment Bank for Infrastructure. The Guinean Parliament adopted this week the text on authorization, ratification, and accession to this institution. VOA Africa in Niger reveals that African Union Summit in Niamey, Nigeria and Benin joined the Continental Free Trade Area, and the African Union member countries symbolically launched Sunday in Niamey the operational phase of the African Continent Free Trade Area, which should constitute a step towards peace and prosperity in Africa and become the largest trading area in the world. In South Africa, Tongaat Hulett outlined an ambitious cost reduction program to save around 1 billion rands. Business Day learned as part of a new management team's efforts to clean up the sugar producers' balance sheet after discovering suspicious accounting practices. The farmers' meeting discussed an ambitious reform. The focus will be on milling and refining. The march of power shows that the city has not hurt. Pressure groups opposed rising inflation, reveals Cape Argus. Residents of the town of Cape Town will be forced to take more out of their pockets after the new electricity rates come into effect earlier this month. The newspaper stated that the new increases range from 8.88% to 13.37%. Sandra Dixon, founder of the activist group Stop COCT, said, "We believe that with these rate increases above the inflation rate, the city is taking money out of people's pockets. Many of our members have reported that they receive nearly 10 fever units for every 100 rands of prepaid electricity purchased. 11 people killed in mass shootings in Philippines, headlined the Daily Cape Times. Residents of the Philippine East, fed up, stormed their police station to demand action after 11 people were killed in less than 24 hours this weekend. The newspaper stated that the shooting forced police to place the area under a 72-hour lockdown by law enforcement, the K9 Unit, and the Flying Squad. 5 men aged 18 to 39 were shot and killed, and 1 injured on Saturday evening. Police spokesman FC Van Wyk said 2 of the men were killed in a local tavern, while the bodies of the other 3 were found in a nearby house. The Focus received the report of the Commission's toilet titled Daily Dispatch this morning. Public Protector Buziziwe Kwebane found no evidence of political pressure from Gwede Mantashe, Minister of Mineral Resources, and Lindiwe Zulu, Minister of Social Development, in the R631 Eastern Cape toilet scandal. However, it has referred all those involved, including those with political ties, to the Hawks and the confiscation of property for investigation. In Zimbabwe, the Chronicle titled this morning, "Launch of the World's Largest Market. The African Continental Free Trade Area will start in 2020. The newspaper specifies that African leaders, including President Emmerson Mnangagwa, yesterday launched the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is expected to enter into force in July 2020 and increase intra-African trade by 60%. We remain in Zimbabwe. The Herald marks on its front page Ramaphosa in energized talks. President Mnangagwa yesterday held fruitful bilateral talks with his South African counterpart, President Cyril Ramaphosa, to find lasting solutions to Zimbabwe's electricity supply problems, paving the way for a forthcoming meeting of leaders from both countries for a new arrangement in this area. La Tribune d'Afrique, present in Rwanda, informed us that Saudi aviation specialist Nexus Group has just teamed up with Rwanda company Akagera Aviation to open the country's first aviation academy, with the objective of training more than 2,000 professionals in the sector. All trades combined within 2,000 came for. The academy, whose investment cost has not yet been revealed, intends to open up to candidates from all over the continent. Crisis in Sudan. Army promise to respect the agreement, reveals African News present in Sudan. The newspaper stated that just a few days ago, senior officials of the Transitional Military Council in Sudan were celebrated as heroes since the announcement of the signing of a power-sharing agreement with civilians. The vice president of the council, General Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, called for national unity and expressed the will of the military to implement this agreement in order to break the country's political deadlock since the fall of Omar al-Bashir. In Zambia, Zambia will participate in the annual meeting of the International Monetary Fund in Bali this week, titled the Zambian Business Times. The newspaper specifies that Zambia, Africa's second largest copper producer, joins the rest of the world this week to attend the annual meetings of the boards of governors of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group in Nusa Dua, Bali, Indonesia, from 8 to 14 October 2019, with a delegation led by Margaret Manakate, former banker and current finance minister, will be in Bali. In Angola, Journal de l'Angola informs us that the Minister of Culture, Maria Piedade de Jesus, yesterday rolled out the possibility that the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization may relegate Banza Congo to the blacklist of the World Heritage of Humanity for failure to comply with the recommendations of the conference in Krakow, Poland in 2017. The following in your newspaper. Proponents of dialogue ask their condition titled El Vatan in Algeria. Forum participants also stressed the need to establish a government of national competence and the exclusion of political staff involved in corruption cases or who have supported the fifth term of deposed President Abdelaziz Bouteflika. Let's read this press panorama in Central Africa. VOA Africa present in Chad. Dismantling of a network of suspected tramadol traffickers in N'Djamena. The newspaper specifies that some officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are said to be involved in the trafficking of this drug worth more than 7 billion CFA francs. In Cameroon, mobile telephony where the audit of the Orange, MTN and Nextel concessions was carried out, reveals Ecomatin this morning, suspecting that they were groping in the procedure for renewing the license of MTN Cameroon and Orange Cameroon, which expired in 2015, and that the 3G license was granted in 2014 to Vietnamese Nextel against a payment of 20 billion CFA francs. The President of the Republic ordered in December 2018 an investigation whose results were not made public for more than 7 months after. Meanwhile, these three operators have just been ordered by the Telecommunication Regulatory Agency to pay a fine of 3.5 billion CFA francs for violating the provisions of Decree number 2015-3759 PM of 3 September 2015, laying down the procedures for identifying subscribers and terminals. The management is not to be complained, reveals the daily newspaper L'Intégration this morning. For the central bank, there is not a currency crisis in the sub-region. Instead, money technicians talk about a tightening of the regulatory framework put in place by the financial institution in order to dismantle the terrifying strike force of economic operators in terms of capital drain. Full fire in the cave of the informal or the black market index of foreign currencies climbed in large cities. The malaise of economic operators. The following to read on page 10 and 11 of your newspaper. Always about the same subject, Defi Actuel Radar seeks to understand the shortage of currencies. The newspaper points out that, according to specialists, the currency crisis is the result of the drastic drop in commodity prices, the area's low export capacity, and the non-repatriation of foreign exchange by business leaders and commercial banks. Read the interview with Dr. Nabil Aman Dikonjoya, a specialist in monetary issues. Still on the subject of currency controversies, the daily newspaper Le Repère reveals that the Bank of Central African States indexes banks. Promotion. Tahir Hamid Gilin to reposition Chad in the CEMAC announces the daily L'Economie on his front page. The vice governor of the Central Bank of African States from June 2000 2010 to June 2016 has just been appointed Minister of Finance and Budget of his country. We fence this press review with this latest information. Return of the head of state. Yaoundé makes a triumph to Paul Biya. Title on the front page of the Cameroonian government daily newspaper. The President of the Republic returned to Yaoundé on Friday evening with the First Lady Chantal Biya after a brief private stay in Europe. Upon arrival, the presidential couple was treated to an enthusiastic welcome from the people of the capital and its surroundings. Mass outing to applaud him as he passed through the rest of your newspaper on page 2 and 4. Thank you for following us. Thank you for your loyalty. Goodbye.